welcome to the Happy to Be Nappy Show, yo. And I am your host, Chieftainess, Iskitani, how to push, kick me, talk on me, which means little butterfly under the what? Moonlight. And I am here in Eufuala, Alabama. And I have a special guest, Yoholo Micco. This is the Creek Indian Trail. So now I'm going to give you a little history because the last time I was live, I was in Tuskegee. And I'm just debunking the lies and providing the receipts because people talk, but they have nothing to back it up. Feel me? So here we go. Okay. This is the creek town of Eufaula. This is Creek Heritage Trail, Historic Chattahoochee Commission, and here is Chief Eufaula. This lithograph was made after a portrait by Charles Bird King, produced at the time of Yoholo Micco's visit to Washington, D.C. as part of a Creek delegation, courtesy of the Eufaula Barber County Chamber of Commerce. Yoholo Micco, or Chief Eufaula, was the principal chief of the Upper Creek town of Eufaula, but it is believed to have had relatives and acquaintances among the lower creeks. He fought as an ally of American forces in the First Creek War and was involved in negotiating several treaties between the Creeks and the United States. Remembered as a great orator, he famously addressed the Alabama legislature at the time of removal, remarkably poignantly that the Indian fires are going out. Soon they will be cold. New fires are lightning in the west for us, they say, and we will go there. He died shortly after immigration to the west. Okay? So this is Chief Yoholo Micco. Looks very much like myself, copper colored. Okay, the area surrounding Eufaula was part of a regional Creek population center, Iron Creek. Towns of note in the region included Sawakli, also known as Sabacola, and the town of Eufaula, for which the modern city is named. Trails linked these closely connected towns, each containing perhaps 50 families in the early 1800s, to the other towns of the Chattahoochee, Flint, and Pea Rivers. The town of Eufaula appears on maps as uphill as early as the 1730s. The town and its outlying settlements at various times spread along both sides of the Chattahoochee River. Many of the people who lived in the village may have moved here from other areas, and some of them are believed to have later helped settle some of the principal Seminole towns in Florida. Heard that? That's where my ancestors, Seminoles, left South Carolina to Gainesville, Florida, Seminoles. Agent to the United States, agent to the Creeks, Benjamin Hawkins described Eufaula as comprised primarily of farmers. That's who our ancestors are, farmers and cattle herders, and featuring several fenced fields. There were actually multiple creek towns named Eufaula. The nature of the connection, if any, between this town and the Upper Creek town of Eufaula on the Tallapoosa River is not fully understood. So here you have it. You see Little Barber Creek, Sawakli, Kawiki Creek, Chattahoochee River, Tamathali, Chieftainess Creek, Sandy Creek, Dragnasty Creek, Petula Creek, and Chattahoochee River. And this is where the brown is where our ancestors were settled. Okay? And right map of the Creek villages in Eufuala, Sirica, 1800, based on archaeology of the lower Muskogee, who is my family in Georgia, Creek Indians, 1750 to 1836 by H. Thomas Forster II. All right? And you see right here, a map of Georgia with part Carolina, Florida, and Louisiana. Okay? Gulf of Mexico, you see it. Part of Carolina, uphill, which they mentioned, part of Florida, Georgia, you see Creek, Lower Creek, Middle Creek. Okay? You got Louisiana there. You got Choctaw. Okay? All these fine. Okay, and the Gulf of Florida. So this map right here is pure evidence. Okay? So there you have it. I just come bringing receipts. Okay? Here's another chief that was here in Eufuala. I'm going to show you real quick. Okay. Okay. This is Jim Boy, an Upper Creek chief, commanded Allied Creeks that fought with American armies in this area. Okay. And that was him. Okay. So here is the Second Creek War in Eufaula area. Okay. These are the houses that our ancestors built. Okay. These are the houses here in Eufaula. This is the end of the First War. Okay. It says here, Columbus Inquirer article of July 21st, 1836, about the premature celebration of the end of the war in Irvington. Okay. So troops from Irvington were involved in several Second Creek War battles. Especially prominent was Wellborn family William Wellborn, leader of the Barber Rangers. Okay? And they had a Matillia unit, became the most celebrated local military figure of the war. He rode his popularity to election to the Alabama State Senate in 1837. So you see, this is how it happens. This is how they take over. They now have a Senate. His teenage son, James, was killed while fighting alongside him at the Battle of Pea River. And I showed you Pea River. William's brother, Dr. Levi Wellborn, also led troops during the war. Dr. Wellborn's home above still stands in Eufaula. This was not his home. These homes were here because I have read to you about the history. They don't even know how to repeat these houses. You don't see these houses repeating at all. Okay? And this is the map. Okay? So in 1836, long simmering tensions between Creeks and American settlers erupted into warfare. The Creeks crowded onto the last portion of their ancestral homeland, and witnessing the rampant theft of their lands had also become subject to harsh laws, limiting their travels and employment. Sounds familiar here? In 2024, some resorted to plundering settlers' plantation for food and supplies. Several isolated incidents of violence between Creeks and settlers, that's who they are, settlers, occurred early in 1836, including the murder of some Creeks from the village of Eufaula. by residents of Georgia, a portion of the desperate Creeks determined to strike back, resulting in the Second Creek War. Okay? So you see it for yourself. They came over, they started taking the land, taking the houses. This is the Smart Parker Calmer House, was built on the site of a log stockade constructed by residents of Irvington during the Second Creek War and incorporates part of the fort walls in the design. And the word Eufuala came from the Indians because they was like, when the settlers came, they was like, you follow out, you follow. You go ahead and follow on out. So that's where the name Eufuala really means, because everybody here tells the story. So here you have the Second Creek War resulted in the final explosion of the creeks from eastern Alabama and paved the way for large-scale American settlement. These are the settlers. The town of Irvington gradually expanded westward from the bluff overlooking the Chattahoochee in the years after the war, and by 1840s was a thriving and rapidly growing community. The young city soon featured a number of fine homes, several churches, schools, a variety of businesses, and a newspaper office. Prominent local architect George W. Whipple built many of these structures. Don't see his face. This is the Findale Hall, courtesy of Findale Hall. Kendall Manor, courtesy of Alabama Department of Archives. Most of the area of modern downtown Eufaula was developed by 1840s. As Broad Street became primarily thoroughfare for the city, older wooden buildings closer to the river were gradually replaced with more substantial brick structures near the intersection with Eufaula Avenue, Highway 431. These sections of town became known locally as Rotten Row and Brick Row, respectively. Within the decade, Eufaula would complete its transition from a frontier community to one of Alabama's primary trading centers, because you know we're on the water. So right here is the W.C. Bradley dock at Eufaula's CA 1900, courtesy of the Alabama Department of Archives and History. Steamboats landed at Eufaula's as early as 1828, and by the 1840s, the city had become a leading regional river transportation center. Wagons brought cotton from area plantations and farms over 50 miles away to Eufaula for shipment during the area. Thousands of bales were sent via steamboat to Chicola on the Gulf of Mexico and on to ports such as New York and Liverpool. And I'm born where? New York, New York. Steamers heading upriver from Gulf carried a wide array of goods for the growing markets in Eufaula. And here's a picture of marketing cotton in Eufaula, Alabama. And as you can see, there's a lot of dark people in that picture. A vibrant wagon trade supported Eufaula's rise to become a regional cotton trade center. And as you all know, my ancestors had their own cotton farms. And this is a picture of an early view of Broad Street showing the double row of trees that originally lined, courtesy of Robin Shakefield. So we always had trees and everything, and we are totally connected to the trees. Like, the trees are our biggest connection. And another thing that Eufaula is known for, which I want to show you, okay? Because I just want to give you guys history of what happened here, okay, and everywhere, and what's happening now, right now. You know, it just behooves me that people think that one person in office is going to save their lives. It's insane, okay? So this right here, people come, tourists. This is the big bass capital of the world, Eufaula, Alabama. They have a huge competition. People come from all over the world for the big bass competition at the Chattahoochee River. I'm going to show you some more experts, because this is a small town, only 12,000 people. That's it, very small town. Okay, so this is, and you can see here, this is some archives from the train, stuff they left here. Okay, antique, that part. And then, now let me read this to you. Eufuala, Alabama, fishing lure capital of the world. Tom Maine's pioneering vision in the fishing industry helped establish Eufaula as the fishing lure capital of the world. In his 2002 autobiography, Think Like a Fish, he described how he started a small home-based business that eventually generated auxiliary industry with a multi-million-dollar annual cash flow. The Jelly Worm and the Little George, named after Alabama Governor George Wallace, were among his most noteworthy products. Today, more fishing lures are manufactured in the Eufaula area than in any other part of the world. Companies that Mann started included Mann's Bait Company and Southern Plastic. See where the plastic came in, because we was doing glass. This inspired, and it's really toxic for the earth. This inspired others entrepreneurs who started Eufaula, manufacturing D&J Plastics, Big Bite Baits, and Strike Zone lures. Together, these 6 companies create millions of fishing lures annually, establishing Eufaula as the fishing lure capital of the world. Okay, so you read that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a small town, and that's the Indian Trail right there, Yoholo Micco Creek Indian Trail right there. And this was the Confederate Park, as you can see. Confederate Park, that's what's left of it. You know, our biggest problem, we don't do our history. We don't do our research. We just don't. Okay, here we go again. This is Jefferson David Highway. Okay, this is nice. We had one like this for Booker T. Washington. This boulder was placed by Barber County Chapter UDC, September 27, 1927. So there you have it. And I have one more to read to you. So this is a small town. This is Eufaula. A lot. I meet so many people in Miami, New York. People like, oh, my great-grandmother was from Eufaula. We was always here. Okay, we was always here. There's no questions about it. Feathers up, feathers up, feathers up. We were here. Unfortunately, we let other people educate us. That's why you have to go to the archive. Shout out to Tasha Sy in Virginia. I know that we're related because on my father's side, my grandmother and grandfather parents were from Virginia. And then I was watching a video someone sent me, and they were like the king and queen of America. And it was my great-grandmother, Salika, because I had never heard that name. And my dad was like, your great-grandmother, Salika, sat on her hair. Well, guess what? I sit on my hair, too. Long, I can bring it up short, and I can take it down low. And I got it short now because it's hot. So when it gets cold, I drop it long. And so that's when I finally saw her name. I had never heard that name. Okay. So here's some more information that I want to read to you. Okay, this is Central Railroad of Georgia Freight excuse me, Depot. continued from the other side. So I got to do the other side right here, because here it is. Central Railroad of Georgia Freight Depot. And before I read it, I want to tell you that Georgetown is right across the bridge. I want to show you which way. If I go down this road here and I make a right and then a left, I'm going to go over the Chattahoochee Bridge and I'm going to be in Georgetown, Georgia. Okay, so we're right over the bridge from Georgetown, Georgia. Alabama's in Central Time, so we're an hour behind, but when we cross the bridge, we're back in Eastern Time. It's funny, but funny. So, Central Railroad of Georgia Freight Depot. Southern Western Railroad of Georgia was the first rail line to connect with Eufuala when the railroad bridge between Georgetown, Georgia and Eufaula was completed in late 1865. In 1867, the Vicksburg and Brunswick Railroad Company was formed to build a line from Eufaula to Meridian, Mississippi. Vicksburg and Brunswick Railroad passenger and freight depot opened in 1872. And that same year, the line was leased by the Southwestern Railroad of Georgia. In 1879, the line was purchased by Central Railroad and Banking Company of Georgia. Due to the poor condition of the Vicksburg and Brunswick Railroad passenger and freight depot, Central Railroad of Georgia built a new passenger depot in 1889. Around the same time, Central of Georgia Freight Depot was completed just west of the passenger depot. The passenger depot remained in service until the early 1950s when it was raised. The freight depot was utilized by Central of Georgia Railroad until the late 1800s when it was abandoned, continued on the other side. Okay, and I have something really important to tell you about these railroads when I finish. Central Railroad of Georgia Freight Depot continued from the other side. The city of Eufaula acquired the Central of Georgia Railroad Freight Depot building in the 1980s with plans to rehabilitate it for use as a multi-purpose faculty for the Eufaula-Barber County Chamber of Commerce. Eufaula-Barber County Tourism Council, Main Street, Eufaula, and the Barber County Interpretive Center. So, under the leadership of Mayor Jay Jackson and former House Speaker James Clark, in cooperation with Chamber and Eufaula Barber County Historic Foundation, more than $1 million was raised for this project. Renovation began in 1999 when my daughter was born. The building was occupied by the Chamber, so that's like 25 years ago. On March 1st, my brother was born, March 1st, 2002, and named the James S. Clark Center on April 15th. My aunt was born April 14th, and my Cherokee sister Cheryl was born April 15th. Shout out. And of course, my happy to be nappy client Val, born April 15th. The former freight depot is included within the Seth Laurie and Irrington Historic District. The city is the starting point for the Eufaula Rails to Trails program, which follows a portion of the old railroad bed in a closely proximity to Lake Eufaula and on the historic Old Creektown Park, where I'm at a lot of time. I'm always going live there. I love Old Creek Park. And what I want to tell you about these railroads, that there's a lot of people that's receiving checks here in Eufuala. I have friends that live here, and they're all getting a check from those railroads. And they also had something hooked up called black farmers. I was in the post office today, and a woman was saying that they're gonna they signed up to get checks. It's a lot of stuff going on, but you got to be historically correct and know what's going on. So here's some more information about Eufaula. Eufaula incorporated December 19th, 1857, Bluff City on the Chattahoochee Lower Creek village of the Eufaula Indians. Antedating 1733, early white settlers began moving into the village called Eufaula in 1823. Irvington chartered 1832 and renamed Eufaula in 1843. Hub of a prosperous plantation region with thriving river trade, many antebellum homes, hear that? Remain as signs of its wealth and culture. After becoming an inland port in 1963, industries began locating here. So there you have it, right there. That information tells you you can cipher it for yourself. And it basically says the same thing on the other side. And you'll see they have like a red X and a white, which I guess is their symbol for, settlers coming here. But you see when they came, there were beautiful, what did they say? Antebellum homes, right? They said there were many antebellum homes remained as signs of the wealth and culture. So we had wealth, always did, and always will, all the time, you know. Was you saying something to me, sir? Oh, yes, definitely. It's very important. Of course. Yes. I'm a Yamasee tribe. I'm Yamasee, Cherokee, Blackfoot, Mohawk, Mohegan, Seminole. Yeah. What are you? What's your family tribe?
I forgot. I really don't recall
Oh.
the tribe. My great grandmother was from Barber County. She was born in 1876.
She was born in 1876?
Yeah. And she married a gentleman from here, Eufaula. His name was Faith Jones.
Okay.
Before that, she was born. She's actually from Louisville, I think.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? My great-grandparents was from Louisville, Georgia.
What now?
My great-grandparents was from Louisville, Georgia. And that you said, and she was originally from Louisville, Alabama.
Yeah. It ain't far from here. You got Clayton, and then you got Louisville.
Okay. But you don't know what her tribe was?
Now, I don't know what tribe
Your family never, like, my great-grandparents and grandparents always told us, they never told you?
Never told you.
Wow.
I never had that conversation with her because I was really young when she passed.
Okay, but they told us very young. Like I tell my grandson at 3, he'll tell you in a minute, because you got to put it into them when they're young, so it'll be embedded. But you have a great day, all right? And thank you for the history of your great-great-grandmother. That was beautiful. Okay, peace and love. Huh? You have a great day, too. I don't do that, bless them. He's like, be blessed. I said, you have a great day, too. Because blessed means to consecrate. Y'all got to look it up. Y'all have to stop using these spell casting words. Okay, blessed means to consecrate, curse, and kill. And when you look up the word blessed, it's going to say to consecrate. Now look at this right here. This is Eufuala Millennium Time Capsule, opened April 2nd, 2101. Okay? You saw that? The time capsule. And that's the day that my cousin Derek transitioned during COVID in the hospital. But there's a lot of things here. A lot of things. Let me just show you. That's the Chamber of Commerce right there. You know, because it's a small town. That's the park right here. Let me zoom in a little bit where the children come. I would love to bring my grandson here. He would love that so much, you know. And then right over there, you know, it's a small town. And when they have they be doing that Juneteenth. Juneteenth has nothing to do with Africa. Juneteenth has everything to do right here. It all started in Texas with a indigenous American Indian tribe. Nothing to do with freedom, because this says Eufuala Children's Plaza, where they have the bathrooms and stuff for them. And it's just, you know, they have their little splash. Children come to this park. I don't know why we keep doing these festivals, Juneteenth, this, that, the other, because we are not free. We are not free. We are still colonized, okay? Colonized with happiness. With happiness. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So I'm going to give a little quick walk into the trail. And you know that guy was waiting to talk to me? Isn't that something? He was waiting to talk to me. And now he drove off and left. He was waiting to talk to me. But you see, my great-grandparents, grandparents, and shout out to my parents that are still living, they been telling me forever who we are, where we're from. You know, but a lot of people here in Eufaula, they know. Wherever I go, and let me show you this. Again, this is Yoholo Micco, the Creek Indian Trail. This is the trail right here. You see it right here. Yoholo Micco Walking Trail. Steps to better health starts today. It's 3 miles, right? So this is it right here. Guys cutting the grass. This is Alabama's bird trail. They'll show you all the bird trails, all the beautiful birds that we have here. And I see a lot of them in my backyard. And then they have a whole bunch of things to show you stations, how to stay fit for your calves. And then they have a lot of trees that have been donated by numerous people. I just want to show you a few things. All these trees have been donated. They have a beehive here. They have a little greenhouse here. Okay. It's interesting. Very interesting. All these trees have been donated. And as you can see, there are some old buildings from back in the days. Guys over there, there's a peanut factory building right over there. And somebody must have just bought it, because now I seen some Mexicans working on it. And there's a dead bird. Same bird that was in the picture. Gone. Rest in power, bird. Rest in power, sweetie. And most of these trees, like this one, doesn't have a name on it, because when people donate it, they have a little stump. Okay. So this is where they have their festivals here, Juneteenth, this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. And so you see these in loving memory of Margie Brown song, We Love and Miss You, Grandma. And they planted this tree in memory of her, which is a great idea. Because I'm a tree lover, I'm a tree hugger. Okay, so this is why I love this park so much, this Indian Trail. So as you see, they have a lot of bird feeders around. Lots of bird feeders, as you can see. And there's the greenhouse right there that they have. And then they have more history. It's an amazing park, like Indian Trail, I need to say. And they have more history of the cotton. And there's our people right there. Cotton and Creek country. A primary factor in the eventual explosion of the Creeks from their ancestral homeland was the fact that their territory was some of the best suited in the nation for production of cotton, containing enormous tracts of productive soil, a long growing season, mild climate, and rivers for transportation of crops to markets. Creek lands were perfectly suited for 19th century agriculture. As the United States experienced dramatic population growth in the era and the worldwide demand for cotton skyrocketed, Americans exerted tremendous pressure on the Creeks for the cession of their lands. Cotton, more than any other single factor, became the item that brought the swift transformation of Creek country from wilderness domain to one of the primary cotton production areas of the South. And then you have right here a cotton warehouse in Apalachicola, Florida, courtesy of the State of Archives of Florida, Florida Memory. Then they have the steamboat. Let's see what that says. Shamrock at the Alachicola Wharf. See that right there? All right. Dozens of steamboats were employed during the antebellum era to transport cotton from riverside trading centers to Chattahoochee outlets on the Gulf of Mexico at the port of Apalachicola. The city of Eufuala became a major shipping point for the Chattahoochee Valley. Over 20,000 bales of the fiber were received in the city in 1850 alone. See that? Loading cotton on the steamboat. City of Eufaula. You see, and them are some dark-skinned people. Okay? Many Creeks actively participated in cotton agriculture. My great-grandmother had a cotton farm in Louisville, Georgia, which is not far. Chattahoochee Valley region. By the first decades of the 19th century, several prominent Creek leaders in this area were managing slave-operated plantations, prisoners of war, alongside those of their American neighbors, while slavery, aka prisoners of war, as practiced by the Creeks and generally regarded as less severe than the institution as administered by American Creeks, bought, sold, and employed slaves, prisoners of war, in the production of cotton in large number. Okay? So he's showing you. The Chattahoochee Valley played an important role in this transition. Large-scale cotton farming took place here as the early 1820s, and by the 1830s, it had become one of the South's most prolific cotton corridors. By 1845, over 150,000 bales annually were exported from the port of Apalachicola, each of which weighed several hundred pounds. A large portion of this cotton was shipped overseas for use in British textile mills, enabling this area to assume a pivotal position in worldwide trade networks. Okay, and who them people look like right there? A depiction of the first cotton gin, courtesy of Library of Congress. The my people's right there. Cotton and the cotton gin. The enormous amount of labor required to produce cotton in large quantities prohibited its adoption as a staple crop prior to Eli Whitney's invention of the cotton gin in 1793. And you know who Eli Whitney was. Not only was tending and picking the crop back-breaking work, but cotton balls have numerous seeds which must be removed before the fiber, see those seeds? See them? See the seeds? Can be processed. Whitney's famous invention transformed the South into the world's leading center of cotton production with a few decades by dramatically reducing the time and effort it took to separate the seeds from the balls. Dozens of copies of Whitney's design appeared throughout the region virtually overnight, and by the 1830s, gins of varying sizes could be found on virtually every large farm and plantation throughout the Chattahoochee Valley. Okay, so this is the cotton and creek country right here. This is also the pottery. Creek pottery. Pottery is the most plentiful type of artifact left behind by the Creeks, and my family still do pottery, and their ancestors. And one of the few physical connection we have to their communities, which once stood throughout the Chattahoochee River. Shreds and intact earthen vessels discovered through archaeology as critical in documenting the Creek people and played an important role in emulating many details about their daily life that might otherwise be lost to history. For example, pottery can help us understand what the Creeks ate and how they prepared their food, their tastes and art, and even to some degree their societal structure and religious beliefs. There you go. Women and girls made almost all of the pottery produced by the Creeks, drawing on extensive knowledge of pottery making passed down over generations. Creek potters sought out very specific clay for the various uses in which the vessels they formed were designed to serve. They were also knowledgeable in the complicated processes involving and producing pottery in certain desired shape and featuring special textures and colors. Creek women often tempered or strengthened their pottery with materials such as sand, bone, and shells for appearance and durability. Their exterior of pieces of pottery might be decorated with stamping and incision decoration formed by making small cuts and sometimes painted using pigments. The majority of Creek pottery forms can be described as bowls, bottles, and jars. They would have been used in the cooking and storing of food, especially stews and soup and other dishes, including corn, beans, nuts, and other fruits and vegetables they cultivated or harvested in the wild. On certain special occasions in Creek communities, other clay vessels might be ceremonially discarded and new pots brought into use. So central to Creek life was pottery that was sometimes included in the goods that were buried along with the dead to symbolically ease the transition of the deceased into the afterlife. And this is archaeology of the Lower Muskogee Creek Indians, my ancestors, 1750 to 1836, by H. Thomas Forster II. Sponsored by Historic Chattahoochee Commission and the Friends of Yoholo Micco Creek Indian Trail. Included here are illustrations of whole and mostly intact earthen vessels produced by Creeks in the 18th and 19th century and discovered by professional archaeologists. They are representative samples of a few of the several major recognized styles of Creek pottery produced in this area during approximately 150 years prior to removal. While these styles have much in common with pottery produced by American Indians, they call them Native Americans, for thousands of years, they contain unique details in form, material, tempering, and decoration that allow them to be dated to this specific era and region. And this one is Oksmugi Fields Incij Casuela Bowl. Fragments of Okmugi Fields water jug. Plane of inverted bowls. Okmugi Fields insist Casuela Bowl. And I'm going to tell you, shout out to Chief Eagle Eye, because Chief Eagle Eye is Muskogee from Georgia, Cherokee Creek Nation. He makes amazing statues, pottery, sculptures. I mean, he's a painter. He's just amazing. And he's going to be 84 December 16th. Casita red film vessel. That's it. Chattahoochee brush jar. Okay. Courtesy of Dr. H. Thomas Foster. Okmugi fill. So this is what our ancestors did. Okay. And this is the importance of waterways to the creeks. And it was for fishing, waterways. Water was an important part of the Creek spiritual life, which it is still today. The numerous rivers and small streams, creeks, homeland played a very important role in their life and culture. Creeks almost invariably lived along waterways, and that's where my family lived, along the creeks. They relied on them for food and a variety of more materials, utilitarian purpose such as cane for basket making and traditionally farm fertile waterside bottomlands. The creek also used the many navigable streams of the area for travel, trade, and communication. With each other and the larger region, creeks celebrate water as a life-giving, a sustaining source as well, and waterways also figured prominently in spiritual lives. Now, you always hear me saying, thank you, water. Thank you, water spirit. Thank you, water. Water is life. So I'm going to give you this last tour of Chief Yoholo Micco and life and legend. And this is the story. And they said he is believed to who presented an emotional address to the Alabama legislature at the Capitol in Tuscaloosa in 1836. While his words are lost to history accounts of the words he delivered, he became part of our memory of the process of creek removal. Okay, so we've been removed. This may be in no small part due to the fact that they sound as if they accepted removal with resignation. Although Chief Eufuala was known as an advocate of accommodation with Americans so to avoid war, his true thoughts on the course his people were forced to take will likely never be known. Of course, nobody wants to be relocated and removed. So what's in the name? This is his name, the place Eufuala, the creek history. So I'm just giving y'all that real quick. And I want to show you real quickly. We have a lot of stuff for the birds. Real quick. Okay. This is the beehive. Here, I want you to see that. It's the beehives. Here's the bees. Not past this point. You look in there. There's the beehive. And then if I come right around here, this is the beehive. Caution, that's the beehive. Okay? And this is another part of the trail. And as you see, there's creeks in this park, and then there's Chattahoochee River, and you'll see people on boats. And this is Hopper's Hollow, and love that. And then there's another one that says tree hugger. And this is ancient stuff from Eufuala, okay? Old mailbox, these different apparatuses that they use to make stuff. And, this is all historic. And then if we come over here, uh, and so it's beautiful. Like if you walk straight down, of course, you're going to pass the railroad track right here, what they talk about the railroad track. And then you'll see the water to the right of you. And there's a creek that I always come and sit and meditate because, I'm a tree hugger. I'm totally into the trees. I'm totally into Mother Nature because I know that we are connected to Mother Nature. And they keep cutting down our trees because we need the air to breathe and it's good for our hair. People that are copper colored, melanated, carbonated, we need these trees for our skin, for our hair, just for our breathing, just for our whole vibration. And the trees, I keep telling you, they make sounds and music. And I'm soon going to get the apparatus offline and I'm going to give you a demonstration of it. But I want to just show you my favorite part of this sign. And as you can see, more people have donated. Honoring EHC and LC class of 2020, they donated this tree and look how big it is. But it's really beautiful in here. Like when I say beautiful, beautiful, I think I may get to the railroad and then I'll stop because it's, like I said, 3 miles. So this is my favorite tree hugger. And that's who I am. A tree hugger. Hug a tree, tell a tree you love them, thank the tree. And as you know, I'm always hugging trees and thanking trees. So here's another apparatus that was back in the days, very antique. Look at that. Yeah, see? And down there, and it's like really deep. And I know that they got probably foxes and deers, a lot of deer, because this is deer country. Oh my God, there's so many deers, but where I live, I don't see them. I see them once in a while when I'm driving, but not in my backyard at all, because my backyard doesn't have this right here. But I'm getting close to the railroad that I want to show you really, really quick. So you see this greenery? You see this? And you see this? Yo, okay. So look at that. I come here and I'm in heaven because we need this. We need this so much. So very, 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 very much. Like it's ridiculous what, you don't realize what these trees, and a lot of them, I see the eagles. When I come, I see the eagles. The eagles be on top of these trees. It's like so amazing. Like I was like, wow, look at the eagles. They be on top of the trees. They be sitting up there chilling, and they be looking for stuff that they're gonna get onto. So I just gotta walk a little bit more, and we're gonna get to the railroad, and then you'll begin to see the water. So this is the trail. People come here, and they ride their bikes. They either roller skate or walk. A lot of people that's into health, they'll walk this trail. Me and my aunt, shout out to Auntie Annie, she loves this trail, and she won't walk it unless I'm with her. So shout out to Auntie Annie, yo. Okay, we're almost approaching the railroad tracks, which you saw the history. Because I'm going to just give it to you. A lot of people are not doing this. They just want to depend on one person to save them. No woman or man can save you. It's just really, astonishing. It's like ridiculous that so-called black American women or black women from all over the globe raise millions of dollars for a stranger, a woman they don't even know, but they won't raise money for their communities. People are homeless. I've never seen so much homelessness in America in my life, while people are being homeless, sleeping on the streets, sleeping everywhere, there's people that they're bringing from other countries, right? And they're bringing them from other countries and they're putting them up in top hotels. And they're doing that for the election. And then after that, they're going to send them back. Fly just flew on my eye. And so that's what they're going to do. They do it all the time. It's a game. It's a game, and you're being played. We're still colonized. If you don't know that, there's no such thing as freedom. You're not free. You're not free. You never was. So right here, I'm going to show you. Made it. See the water? There's the Chattahoochee River. And this is where people come and dock. They come here, and they get on their boats, and they go out there fishing. This is it. That river is so beautiful. When I tell you beautiful, I'm gonna zoom in a minute. Okay, and here's the railroad crossing. Remember I told you? One of my friends, shout out to Rich from New York, he lives down here. He said, yo, Chief, I don't go past. He says, I don't go past the railroad. And the railroad crossing was right here, right here. This was it. This is historical. So now I'm going to give you a quick look. And this is where I hang out. There's the creek right down in there. I sit, there's a little chair. I come down these steps right here, come down these steps, and I sit right there, and I meditate. And right over there, down in there, there's a creek that runs there. Okay, so now let me zoom in for the water, Chattahoochee, because I'm not going any further. Okay, here it is. It's beautiful. If I walk more, you'll see the whole thing, but I'm not gonna keep walking right now because I have online orders, and I promised a whole bunch of people I would get their orders out today. So that's just part of it, but it's really beautiful. And as you can see, this is the Eufuala Yacht Club, okay? So I've given you a portion, and let me show you. Private marina, members and guests only. Okay, so this is what's happening. This is this is where the railroad, right here. And let me show you again. And if you go down further there, it opens up and you can see the water really beautifully. Let me just, and this is where the railroad crossing was. And they took up a lot of the railroad tracks, but a lot of people here in Eufaula, Alabama, they are getting checks because of those railroads. And there's still railroads by my house. There's a railroad that works. You see there's houses over there. So I just keep it real. I keep coming, bringing receipts. I want to get in the shade real quick because I want to read somebody's comment before I end this trail, this Indian trail. And I see someone had said something, but because of the sun, you know, you don't get to see it. They should make these phones with a little sun shade. So when that sun is, okay, so now I can see it better. I'm gonna go down here and get in the shade real quick. Oh, and also what I wanna show you, coming down those steps right there, and I go sit over here, and this, right through there, there's a cemetery. If you go through here, because you know I'm adventurous, so I go through there. I sit here, I go through there. I found all my family's last name in that cemetery. Sheltons, Jones, Walkers, everybody. So this is the creek right here. See, this is the creek right here. This is the creek. This is the creek. This is the creek. And when it rains, it flows. So I just want to say the only way You're going to find your history and your cultures. Go digging for it. Yes, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Yes, Stylies, Neely Stylies, and Reina Love. I'm in Eufaula, Alabama, sweetie. Reina Love. I'm in Eufaula, Alabama, right across the bridge from Georgetown, Georgia. And I'm like 2 hours from Tallahassee and 2 hours from Panama City. So I'm actually like smack in the middle, and I'm on Central Time. So when I crossed the bridge, which is 5 minutes away, I'm in Georgia, and 2 hours away from Florida, and an hour from certain parts of Florida, but they have a lot of bird places. So I'm going to end this, and I just want to let you guys know that we were always here. The history is there. It's always in plain sight. But we don't want to do our history. We let schools, institutions, churches, and celebrities tell us who we are. So feathers up, feathers up. Until next time, keep it real. Go do your research. Go dig your archives and go research your ancestors. Peace and that's your hair grease. Much love and light. All right. Woo, 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 woo. Shout out to all the tribes that know who they are. And shout out to the Hachinotak Yamas Creek Tribe. Peace and love. And go to my website to support or make donations to our tribe at HAPPY, the number 2, BE Nappy, NAPPY.com. And thank you for everyone, all the love and support purchasing our products. We value you so, so very much. Nanaya, Yokoki, Halacha Peace Halachiki, peace and love, much love and light. All right. And if you see that this video is of value, please like, subscribe, and share, my dear. Peace.